What's up, everybody? Welcome back, Leather and Lumber. Solo pod today. Solo pod, we are talking 2027 Victus. Let's do it.
Are you ready for it?
Whoop, whoop. Here I come. Oh, here I come.
What's up, everybody? Leather and Lumber. We are talking 27 Victus team today. Riding a solo train. We are going solo. I got about 35, 40 minutes. We're going to talk about the Victus team today. We are going to start. This Victus team had a great summer last year. They learned a lot. They got to play in some really nice tournaments against some pretty good competition, and I think each one of them got better. The coaches last year, Jimmy Blunt and Chris Davidson for the 28 team, Tim Hudson and Joe Curcio for the 27 team. With the Victus team this year, we decided to combine them. I think that it is important to do that now because of the recruiting, right? 27s and 28s can get recruited now. And it's important to get these guys on that stage. I am going to coach the squad this summer with Chris Davidson. Jimmy is going to move to a local team with Joe. They're going to stay local and coach the middle school guys. Jimmy's in his last year of college. He's staying up at Tech during the week and going to come down on the weekends. And Joe got a promotion, right? His day job got a big promotion, so he can't travel as much. So I called Chris and said, "Hey, buddy, it's me and you." So here we go. So the Victus team this summer is going to be a combined team. We're going to run some 27s, 28s, and some really polished 2029s out there. We have 2 of them on the squad. So let's get right to it. We are going to start. Where do I want to start? Let's start with the pitchers. I think that this team is really based around pitching, have a ton of POs. We are actually going to start with one of our 2-ways. Our commit on this team, Jackson Bauer, the big lefty, made some huge strides in the offseason, committed to Catawba Valley community, which is an absolute powerhouse here in North Carolina. Powerhouse JUCO. They put a ton of guys into Division I baseball. I think that kind of just fits Jackson to a T. He's going to get a chance to do both. He's going to pitch. He's going to hit. And that's a awesome opportunity for him. For this team, first baseman, power hitter. And I think we're going to move him into a starter's role. He'll be a full-time starter. For us, I think it's important for Jackson to gain some consistency, which is what he needs. He needs consistent time on the mound. He needs consistency to find his breaking ball. And I think putting him out there as a starter is going to allow him to do that. He is going to be one of our guys, right? He's going to get the ball every tournament as a starter and see what he can do. So looking for big things out of our commit, Jackson Bauer, on the mound. We are going to go down the list. We're going to go with Grady Walker next. Grady had a tough year last year with some injuries. One of those kids that hit his growth spurt really late and just had, growth plate separation and couldn't get healthy. We're kind of going to ease him back into the travel ball circuit this year. 3-pitch mix, tons of strikes, velos coming along. When he's done growing, this kid is going to be an absolute unit. And we are very excited to see what we have coming from Grady this year. Next, Chase Davidson, another one of our starters. Again, dad's a pro, right? Pitched in pro ball for 4 or 5 years. Division I college guy. So Chase has a bunch of pedigree. I think Chase is like 6'5" right now, 170 pounds soaking wet. So we got to put some weight on him. But he's just trying to, trying to find himself as he grows. He's another one. They grow so fast and their coordination kind of doesn't catch up with them. And we're really waiting on Chase's coordination to catch up with him to try to put it all together. Another 3-pitch mix, really good fastball, solid breaking ball. The biggest thing with Chase, again, getting him consistent innings. So we're going to run Chase out there as a starter and really see what he's got when it comes to that. Next, the workhorse of the 2017 last year, Braden Enzor, did some big work in the offseason, upped his fastball velo substantially. I'd say 3 miles an hour, maybe 4 miles an hour. So he's up in the 80s now. Strike thrower, just tons of strikes. I was talking to Coach Delgado a little bit, I think it was last week. And he's like, I saw something from Enzor I've never seen before. He walked 2 batters in an inning. I was like, imagine that. And the first question I asked, was he getting squeezed? He was like, yeah, a little bit. And I was like, well, that explains it enough. But ultra competitor, strike thrower, ready to compete at this level. And I think he's going to be a guy. He's going to be the horse of the staff, right? He's going to get the ball game 1 every event. And we're just going to roll, right? We're going to ride his coattails, as they say. Next, we're going to go with lefty specialist Andy Needham. Had a great year for the 27 squad last year. Got us out of a lot of tight situations. Good breaking ball. Just one of those guys that keeps everyone off balance. It's not overpowering, but it's over the dish, and it keeps guys off balance with that breaking ball and that changeup. Again, Andy's just looking for some consistency, right? So we're just, we're going to run him out there and we are going to give him the ball in the later innings. And right, his job is going to be to get it to the closers, right? That's what we are going to have him for. Okay. Next arm that I want to talk about, Anthony Gomez, right? Big body, hard worker. He's another guy that, along with Braden last year, he was a horse, right? Got to start every event and really did his thing. The plan is to start him again and just let him roll, right? These guys coming out of high school, I'm not sure what type of innings they're getting. Some are getting a ton, some are getting none. And we really can't do anything about that, nor do I care, right? I would prefer them not throw a bunch because I don't want them to hit their innings limits. One thing that we do here, I think better than most people, is we really protect our guys. Protect their arms, protect them from themselves, right? Making sure that they're healthy to pitch in every event that we have, to get their innings, to get their looks. Talked to Anthony the other day, actually, and he was talking about some college stuff that he wants to get going, right? Junior colleges that he's interested in. So we're going to start reaching out to some of those, but really hard worker, tireless worker, right? Enjoys the process of being a pitcher, which is really important. And he is going to be, again, another horse for us on the mound. Next is going to be Braden Kapnick, the big righty. Another one that's put on some size and some velo this offseason, getting a few innings over at Heritage High School. One of those guys, again, tireless worker. Like if you saw this kid from last year until this year, he's probably put on 20 pounds of just jack. He's bigger, he's stronger, he throws the absolute shit out of the ball. Has a little bit of a unicorn fastball, right? That fastball has a little cut ride to it. Lots of swings and misses. Again, just consistent innings, knowing these guys are going to pitch every single event. We are going to go next to a couple of our two-way guys that I'm going to talk about on the mound. First off, Thomas Greer. We're probably going to use Thomas as our closer this year. He's a 28. He's going to play a lot of infield, but as a pitcher, really good curveball, not scared of the moment, strike thrower, right? He's one of those guys that you can't tell if we're up 10 or down 10. He is coming in to do a job, right? And that hook of his is really, really good. And he's going to give us a chance to win a lot of ball games. Next, we are going to go to the lefty, one of the 229s on the team. He is a two-way, but we're going to talk about him as an arm. Mason Morgan, just an absolute bulldog on the mound. He could probably be this team's number one starter, but we're going to kind of protect him a little bit. He's another one that might end up as a closer on this team, depending on Thomas and where he's at in the lineup and such. But lefty, strike thrower, low 80s, really, really good breaking ball and outstanding changeup. I've seen him throw a couple times, and every time it's just better and better. I want to say he threw a no-hitter in Atlanta in the fall. Just ultra competitor, great kid, super hard worker. Made his varsity team up in Connecticut as a freshman. So we're looking for big things from Mason on the mound. Other guys that are going to get some innings, right? Xander Mowbray is going to throw some innings in relief. We're not quite sure what Xander's going to do, whether it's going to be pitching more or hitting, but it's one of those things so that where he throws a bunch of strikes, he's ultra competitive, he attacks the zone, right? And that's what this team is going to be about, right? The defense on this team in general is going to be much improved from the two teams last year, and we're going to kind of get into that here in a second. But, I think it's one of those things to that where if the pitchers can get the ball down, can keep us in games, we're going to have a chance to make a ton of plays for them. And that is, for me, a big deal, right? To try to get games into the 6th and 7th innings, to get these guys there at bats, to get the pitchers more innings to be able to throw. More innings, more chances to be seen, right? More games, more chances to be seen. So this pitching staff, big things are expected. I know Chris is going to say the same thing, right? Throw the ball over the dish. Let your defense work. We got a really good one. So, right, let them work. Okay. Speaking of defense, I always start behind the plate. Jacob Bondi, new to the organization. A lot of local events, right? I met him at DBAT. It's been months now. But just talking to him, and I was like, dude, I was like, what do you want out of your baseball? He goes to a small high school. He's like, yeah, we're not very good, but like, I want more. And I said, well, we can give you that. Right. So talk to him, talk to his parents, kind of let him know what we were about. And he signed on and, watched him catch a bullpen the other day. Granted, it was a young kid throwing, but regardless, catching is catching. Really good hands. God, he's got good hands. I really like his setup. I really like the way he receives, right? Obviously, I haven't seen him block yet or throw, but I know he gets on the bump and can run it up there in the mid-80s. So, one of those things that, he's going to be one of the horses behind the plate, and just we're looking for big things out of that position this summer. And, Jacob is going to be the go-to. Next, Mikey Fitzgerald, another guy, workhorse, absolute unit behind the plate. He's not scared of it, throws his body in front of it. He is the kid that when he leaves the field, he has dirt everywhere. You can tell he plays really, really hard. And, that's what we want out of Mikey, right? He's one of those kids. He's been with us for a few years now. And every single year, he gets better and better and better. The biggest thing for me with him, right, is the arm. The arm strength's got to come along. The receiving has been good, right? It needs to get better. He's going to be playing up now, so the guys are going to have a little more control. He's going to have to really dig in, right, and get that receiving dialed in along with the arm. Offensively, for both of our catchers, anything we get from them is a bonus, right? I think Jacob is going to be one of those guys to that where going to be a little more polished of the two as far as offense goes, but right, the job has to get done one way or another, and so anything we get offensively from those two is going to be a real bonus. I'm going to go to the middle now. Wilmer Moreno. We saw him at a tryout, and let me tell you, fucking impressive. Just an impressive young man, impressive baseball player. an impressive build, right? This kid is a unit, right? He is going to be our lockdown shortstop. That is what we are expecting from him. One of those guys where you listen to him talk, he understands the position, he understands the game. Then you watch him take BP and close your eyes and you listen to the sound the ball makes coming off his bat. Jesus, it is loud. Huge things expected from Wilmer that this summer, locking down our shortstop position. Second base is kind of going to be a rotating door, right? Thomas Greer is going to play a lot of second. Ryder Mowbray is going to play a lot of second. One of those things to that where, Thomas is also going to play third. He can fill in for Wilmer at shortstop. Ryder can do both as well. Actually, I like both of them as third baseman better, but we got to have a second baseman. That's where I think kind of Ryder is going to slot in a little more. But silky smooth, leadoff hitter, left-handed stick, right? Has the tools to play short. I just think he's going to slot at second better, especially at the next level. Consistency, right, for Ryder is a big thing. And the same thing with Thomas. Thomas is like your Swiss Army knife, right? He can play all three positions, play him at a pretty high clip. As he grows into his body, I think his growth is kind of going to slide him over to third base and keep him there. But again, one of those things to that where, we expect both of those guys to play at a super, super high clip. Ryder in the leadoff spot, obviously for us, the catalyst, the driving force, getting on base and making shit happen. Thomas, typically a middle part of the order, 6, 7, 8, maybe down towards the bottom. Bat to ball skills, right, is an important thing for him. As he starts to grow and get into his body, he's going to put on a little more pop. But his biggest thing I remember is like this fall, it seemed like every time we looked up, he was on base, right? Single to right field, single to left field, single to center, tons of base hits. He was on base a ton. And as he continues to grow, right, and I'm talking physically, right, as he continues to physically grow and to fill out and mature, he is only going to get better and better and better. Next, we are going to go to corner infielder, right, Andrew Kimmel. He's also going to DH. He's another one that showed up to the tryout with Wilmer that we had. And my God, this kid has Mondo pop. The one thing that the coaches were saying is like, when he hits the ball, it's different. Like, we need this kid. This kid is going to be a staple in the lineup. Andrew, welcome to the 4-hole, my guy. You are going to start this season in the 4-hole, and it is yours until you give it up. Just really expecting big things out of this young man. Kind of your college coach's dream. 4-hole hitter, can play both corners at a pretty high clip. With Jackson being a pitcher and Mason being a pitcher, right? The one thing about the organization, and everybody's kind of figured it out by now, is we DH for our pitchers regardless. So when they're going to pitch in the game, they do not hit. And that's kind of where that our platoon and our utility guys get a bunch of at-bats and a bunch of playing time, is during those type of games. We're fortunate to have a ton of arms, and we're also fortunate to have a ton of utility guys. Andrew is going to fit that utility guy, especially in the DH spot. He's going to get a ton of time at DH as well. Huge things expected from Andrew. Another one of our utility guys, right? Got him, came over from the Dirtbags, Garrett Dye. Left side of the field type player, can play some outfield as well, but big body, another one that kind of needs to grow into it and fill out a little bit, right? But he's got tools. He has arm strength. He has footwork. It's just kind of really for him figuring out exactly where he's going to fit at the next level. Body, offensive production, all of that is going to come in. But you look at him, he looks like a ball player. He walked up to the field and I was like, Jesus Christ, who is this? I saw him down in Atlanta for the first time, and just a very imposing presence when he walks up. I think he's like 6'3" or 6'4". Just a giant 2028 infielder, and we are looking for big things out of him. Next, Henry Kane, another Connecticut guy. He's the other 29 on this team. Utility player, can play 7 of the 9 positions. He's not going to catch. He's not going to play first base. He's probably going to get a chance to play the rest of them at some point or another. Probably more outfield than anything. I think body type kind of puts him in the outfield, but he can play third base. He can play second base. We can move him around. Again, another Swiss Army knife, right? And on teams like this, you can't ever have enough of them. And, with pitching, with some of the 27s that are going to go to camps, that are going to miss events for various reasons, we know it's going to happen, right? To have Henry on the team, to give us options to play multiple positions is a big deal. His biggest thing, I think, for us in general, physically stronger, right? Getting physically stronger, understanding the game at a little higher pace, right? Some of these kids from up north that come down south for the first time, the pace is a lot faster than they're used to, right? So we're really going to challenge Henry because we're playing him up too, right? You got to think he's a 29. He's playing up 2 age groups. He has the skill set to do it, right? You watch him. He has the bat to do it. He has the glove. He has the footwork, right? For us, it's going to be, does he have the mental fortitude to deal with the faster paced game? And along comes with the pace is the failure, right? You're going to fail. Everyone fails, right? Baseball is a game of failure. It's how you deal with it. It's how you handle it. And I think the thing with Henry is getting him used to it and understand, hey, look, failure is a part of it. We get it. You got to figure it out. And so we're going to play him on the stage and we're going to give him an opportunity to figure it out. Okay. Next, we're going to go to the outfield. And I'm going to start in center field. This kid joined us from Maryland. He came in the fall and originally was a switch hitter. And I was talking to his dad and just great people, right? I'm talking about Brian Wright from up in Maryland. And again, was a local guy, and we kind of put him on a little bit of a national stage. And I watched him switch hit, and I kind of brought him in the dugout. And I was like, my man, that left-handed swing is broke. And he kind of smiled and laughed. He's like, what do I do? And I said, hit right-handed. And he got a big old smile on his face. And I said, just give lefty up and really learn how to hit right-handed. And he did. And we took him to Atlanta. And Jesus Christ, it seemed like he was on base every fucking at bat, stealing bases left and right. Like, he has serious speed on the bases. We're going to teach him how to really run bases, teach him how to steal bases, but extremely gifted on the base pass in the outfield. He tracks the ball so well. Such a great instinctive outfielder. As a 2028, huge things are expected from Brian. Again, we're playing him up, right? Probably more of a 2-hole hitter, right? With Ryder hitting leadoff. I like the lefty in the leadoff spot. Brian's going to get a chance to hit 2. Although we may flip-flop him, right? Ryder may have a chance to hit 2. Brian may hit some leadoff. Obviously, whoever gets on base a little more is going to have that opportunity. I also kind of like Ryder in the 2-hole just a little bit, simply because of the bunt aspect, right? Being left-handed, he can put it down. He can do some different things. Probably handles the bat a little bit better than Brian does. Maybe a little more hit and run aspect. But again, he's left-handed. He's a little older, right? But Brian is going to be hell on wheels on the base paths and patrolling center field. Next guy, talking to Tim Hudson the other day, just shooting the bullshit. And right, I remember talking to him last summer and kind of asking him how things were going. And he was like, dude, he's like, where did you find Trey Bruth at? And I was like, who? And he goes, Trey Bruth. He goes, he pitches, he rakes. Where'd you find this guy? And I said, I don't know who the fuck you're talking about, my guy. And he goes, Trey Sykes. All he does is hit balls on the barrel. I think he hit like 450 for the calendar year, which is just absurd. Especially after being a PO in high school and then comes out on this level and hits 450 for the calendar year. What a great approach. Great bat to ball skills. Like, as an offensive player, what more do you want? He needs to get bigger and stronger, and I've harped on him for that. But as far as like an offensive player, that is what you want. Unbelievable bat-to-ball skills. You don't hit 450 for a calendar year without it. Left-handed swing, right-handed thrower. He's always inside the ball, which is awesome. Just always seems to put the ball where people aren't in green grass, and that really helps. Not a speed demon, but runs the bases really, really well. But just a gamer, can play both outfield slots on the corner, can play third base, can play first if you need him to. But just a hitter. He is going to lock down right field to start with. And I'm super excited about that. Another outfielder, Trey Anderson. Trey has been with us from the beginning. Trey was originally a scout team guy as a PO, and kind of moved him around and decided he wanted to play some outfield. Trey's super athletic. He's really twitchy. He's one of those guys to that where, again, left-handed bat, right-handed thrower, can do a lot of different things. I'm not sure how much Trey is going to pitch this year. He's been having some arm issues, and we really can't figure out what it is. But starting outfielder for the high school, hits all the time. I had him in the cage the other day for a little while, doing a session with him, right? Just kind of talking about it. And super twitchy, very strong, very athletic, can run it down in the outfield. The arm, honestly, it worries me, and he'll tell you the same thing. I'm not sure about, the arm from the outfield as pertains to Trey, but he's got some wheels. He is fast. He can run. He tracks it well in the outfield. His biggest thing is going to be, right, just putting it together, right? Consistency. And I think, actually, let's get into to Xander Mowbray. The other outfielder is going to play in the outfield. Another guy that you're just looking for consistency from, right? I think that's the biggest thing with this team, right? Is it's not the level of talent, because their best is really fucking good. It's consistency. Can you put it together for 2 or 3 events? Can you put it together for 4, 5, 6, 7 games? One game after another, day to day, and not only physically, but mentally. Can you figure it out mentally? Can you hold it together mentally? And that's the thing with Xander is, right? Can you put together quality at bats? We know he can run it down. We know he can throw it, right? He's a good base runner, right? You got to get on base. You got to make shit happen. And that all starts with having a great approach at the plate and kind of staying within yourself and doing what's necessary for you to be successful, right? He's a great kid. He's a hard worker. We got to have some consistency at the dish. And that really goes for everyone. And I think last but not least, I know I already talked a little bit about him as an arm, but Mason Morgan, he's going to play in the outfield. He's going to play first base. He is going to hit. He hits the absolute shit out of the ball. He is a tireless worker. Hockey guy first up until a couple years ago. Decided baseball was his thing. So they actually built him a baseball facility in the hockey arena so that he can do both. And I get videos all the time from Mason and just so powerful body, powerful swing, Mondo pop. He has real juice from the left side, lefty, right. Again, a Connecticut guy, just like Henry. And the biggest thing that we wanted to see for Mason was the ability to adjust to the Southern game. And he did that great, right? We talked to Jordan about him last year. And Jordan was like, look, I started him off and then hitting him 8, 9, 10 because we didn't know what he was going to do. And then, he moved up. He ended up hitting 5, 6 a few tournaments. He ended up in the 3-hole for a few tournaments. He's uber consistent. He's a great teammate. Always does the right thing, right? He's a little quiet little shy, it seems. I'd like him to come out of his shell a little bit more, right? Be a leader. When the 27s leave and we move some of these guys to Marucci teams, right? It's one of those things to that where I want Mason to lead. I think he's got that in him. I definitely would like him to step into those shoes. Right. And that's our 27 Victus team. What a squad. Just super excited. Got a lot of pitching, got a lot of depth, right? That's something that our Victus teams have never had, and we have it now for the first time, is we have depth. And we've got guys that can play all over the place. Chris and I are fortunate now. We have the ability to set lineups based on who's hot, who's not, based on matchups. We have left-handed arms that if we see a predominantly left-handed lineup, we can throw a lefty against them. We've got multiple options to do that. Jackson and Andy, and then Mason. We have guys that throw really good breaking balls. We have ultra competitors, right? We can set these lineups based on what is best for the team to play as many games and get as many innings as we can. A luxury that we've never had before, right? Chris has a plethora of pitchers that he can work through and really set it up so that where we can be super successful on the field. This team is going to start in Atlanta. We're going to go from Atlanta to Greenville and playing Black Bear. Over the 4th of July, we're going to jump up to Boston, playing the Boston Open. And then I'm taking the boys down to Baton Rouge for the Marucci World Series. I think it's going to be a challenge for them. I can tell you one thing, gentlemen. It's fucking hot down there. Oh, my God. It is hot. Something that my 26s weren't ready for last year. I don't think they were ready for the heat. And having all these guys around and being available for that event is going to be a huge deal. We're going to roll into the fall with basically the same group. I'm not going to make any changes for the fall. The changes will be made in November to get guys where they need to go to be successful. We're going to have a Victus team. We're going to have a couple Marucci teams next year. But regardless, the main goal, recruiting, right? Coach Beltran, hot on the recruiting trail for these guys, figuring out where they fit, where they belong, what they want, what they're looking for. Jackson's already committed, so that's one down, right? We've got about 8-9 more to go. So we're going to be on it with them. The other cool thing about this group is there's a ton of fucking smart kids on this team, right? So, and we've got some schools that really go after the academic kids, and it's great to have relationships with those schools. It's a huge deal for the org. We've said it all along, and something that people hear me harp about constantly is, right, we recruit the player, right? But it's not just about baseball, right? It's about their family. It's about their academics. It's about what kind of person they are, right? When you recruit families and players, right? If you got a good family and your mom and dad are good people, you're going to be a good person, right? And something that we've learned recently, if your mom and dad are fucking selfish, you're going to be selfish and you're going to play selfish, right? So recruiting families, good families, is a big deal for us. And that's what we have. This team, this organization, right? Great families, people that aren't selfish, people that trust us and trust the process, kids that buy in to what we're doing, right? We will find you a place to play college baseball, right? It's one of those things to that where it's not like it used to be, but Manny is really fucking good at what he does. We've got some things in the works with a guy. I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to put him out there just yet until everything's finalized, but who's stepping in to kind of help Manny with some of this stuff, who's connected up the wazoo. And I'll bring more about that next time. When I have Gary on, actually, the next time Gary comes on, we'll kind of bring everything up when it comes to that. But just getting these guys committed, getting them seen, getting them in front of people. We have that ability. We have relationships. We have a ton of smart kids. We have great relationships with smart schools, and that's what we're going for, right? And our biggest job is to find a level that everyone can play at. A part of our job is managing expectations, right? We have to manage expectations. And, that was a big thing for me is, having meetings with everybody and kind of letting them know, hey, look, do I think you're a college baseball player? Yeah, probably. But you have to do these things to solidify that. This is where you fit in college baseball. This is where you don't fit, right? You're not going to Vanderbilt. And that's okay. Perfectly fine. You don't have to go to Vanderbilt. Not a big deal, right? But if you want to play college baseball, this is what you have to do. So I'm super excited about this 27 Victus team. We're going to be deep. We're going to have depth. Guys are going to get tons of opportunities to play in front of scouts, to get their ABs throughout this year, to get their innings on the mound, to get their defensive looks. And I couldn't be more excited about the team that we have built for this Victus squad. I'm going to go a couple more minutes. Right. Everything as people can see, right. The background changes. I got the wall done, got the jerseys hung. Obviously, everyone knows we were the Dodger scout team for a long, long time. And then, the Knights kind of ran into a buzzsaw for a few tournaments, and that really pissed somebody off, and they went crying to so-and-so, and it was just a big, long ordeal. But I also played for the Dodgers, right? These are our scout team uniforms. I've got the number 24 on these two, right? Obviously, our Jackie Robinson jersey that we came up with in the frame. And then that's our special City Connect that we came up with. Obviously, Jackie wore number 42. So we had all the jerseys had 42 on the front, players' numbers on the back. These are two we had mocked up in 2024 when we switched companies over to Built Different. He made both of these. He also made this one. I got this one with my number on it. I wore number 50 in the big leagues. Yes, Mookie Betts wears my number. I know. Congratulations. So did Jamie Schultz. Shout out Jamie Schultz, one of the guys who started working with the River Cats, my first gig when I got to North Carolina and started coaching baseball. But the room is coming along nicely. The office is coming along. I'm really happy with everything so far. Baseball season in full swing. The Dodgers are kicking ass and taking names. They embarrassed Toronto last night. And what a troll job, right? Miguel Rojas ended up on the mound. The guy that just buried Toronto with that home run in Game 7 ends up on the mound because the Dodgers are beating them 14-2. Super troll job by Dave Roberts. I know it probably wasn't intentional, but it is what it is. Dodgers are off to a really hot start. I think the Brewers also just really, really hot ball club. They were in Boston last night and played a hell of a game. I like that squad. I like them. They're a good squad. They remind me of LA a little bit. They've got chemistry. They've got attitude. They've got an understanding. Love the Brew Crew this year. I think they're doing some really cool shit. I'm going to be excited for the playoffs. I know the Dodgers swept them out last year. I'm hoping for the same thing again this year, but it's baseball, and we will see. I think the Dodgers have to be the overwhelming favorite. They have the best player on the planet in Shohei Ohtani. They've got outstanding leadership with Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts and Miguel Rojas. The Japanese connection. Sasaki struggling the same as he did, last season in the beginning, and then, came on to be a lockdown closer, which is actually where I kind of think he fits. I don't think he's made for 2, 3, 4 innings. I think he's made for 3 outs and just get up there and throw the absolute piss out of it. Yamamoto is just, it seems automatic. That splitter is something different. Just what a team. Super, super excited about them. You know, really happy what they did with Clay. Made him a special advisor. You know, went out on top, went out a World Series champion. The last pitch he ever threw in the big leagues, right? Got the rollover to second base in the playoffs against Toronto. Just super happy for him, former teammate of mine. One of the few guys that I actually still, that I actually played with that's still playing. Miguel Rojas was a teammate of mine that I played with. Kenley Jensen was a teammate that I played with. Those two guys are still going. I think everybody else is done. At least guys in the big leagues that I played with. I know like Salvador Perez is still playing. Sal and I played together in winter ball. And there's a few others that are floating around. A lot of winter ball guys that are still going. But, baseball season's in full swing. I'm getting to watch some games here late at night, which is awesome. Usually don't. When I first retired, it was really hard to watch. Spring training was like a super depressing time for me. And I never really could go watch baseball. It hurt to watch it on TV. It hurt when spring training time came around and I was at home, that hurt. And then this stuff kind of got me through it, right? Coaching and being around the kids and being around the game and still, being able to give them my knowledge. Right. And, it's one of those things to that where, right. The major league game gave me so much as a player, and the youth baseball kind of brought me back to life. Right. And that I'm very thankful for. Right. And my wife, right, Kara, she's been with me and supports me through it, because without the game, like, I really don't know what I do. And she's been here and she's been supportive. And the funny thing is she knows nothing about baseball. She's a football girl and she'll tell you that as much. But she supports me through this and allows me to do this. And, it's therapeutic for me to be on the field. And, I get home and I'll give her a hug and she's like, "You smell like outside." And I do most of the time. I love being on the ball field. Right. I love it. And it's great to have that support system because the game is really important to me, and she gets it, and she allows me to do this. She allows me to coach this Victus team. She allows me to coach our 11U team that we'll talk about here in a little bit. She allows me to coach our 31s, which we'll talk about in a little bit. We can do these development practices and these development things. And, it's just, I love the ability to pass the knowledge on to the next group. And, something that I was talking to, one of the guys about on a previous podcast, I think it was Andy Wilkins, is, trying to get that dude to come over and help us coach too. I mean, we are very fortunate as an organization, right? I played in the big leagues. Manny played professionally, albeit in Puerto Rico. Johnny played professionally in Mexico. Joe played professionally over in Europe. Chris played professionally here in the States for the Orioles, I believe. Greg played professionally for the Nationals. If we can get Andy to come over, Andy was a big leaguer, right? Andy's got a young kid that's getting into it, and we're going to talk about it with him. And if something happens, great. And if not, it is what it is. I'm sure he'd love to come out to a practice or something like that and work with the kids. He's a great guy, as you guys all saw and listened to him talk. But we've got so many pros. Like, I'd be willing to put our staff up against any staff in the country, as you're talking about professional baseball, like 5, 6 guys that are pros, right? That did it at a super, super high level where all these kids want to get to. Who better to learn from than somebody that's actually done it and that has the knowledge to pass on and the gift to pass it on? Like, that's, some guys just don't want to do it. And that's fine. That, to each his own, right? You don't have to coach and whatever when you retire, right? Some guys do it for different reasons. I've explained multiple times. It's my way of giving back to the game that gave me my life, right? That was such a big part of my life. I give back, right? That's my reason for doing it. Do I get paid? Yes, I do get paid to do it, but it's not my end all be all, right? I do it to give back, to help these kids realize their dreams of being college baseball players or high school baseball players or professionals, right? The Ty Harveys of the world, the TJ Fords, right? Giving back and teaching them how to be pros. That's what it's about. I think that, the organization is going places. We're going places. We have meetings set up. We are talking to people constantly. I've seen a more and more podcasts, people doing podcasts, right? 18 months ago, right? No travel organization did a podcast. I saw fucking SBA do one the other day. Couldn't tell you who those people are, but I mean, they were doing a podcast. I saw it on Instagram, I think, which is, I mean, huge form of flattery because I know we were the first ones to do it. This isn't easy. It's not easy to do. It's really hard during the season, right? It was hard last week. We had, spring break and I had shit going on and I couldn't get in the studio to record. Right. And it's tough, but it is what it is. I love doing it. I love talking about our players. I love talking about our staff. I love talking about our success. Right. And we are going to discuss our failures. Right. We haven't had a bunch to date, but we have had some. And right, our failures are only going to make us better. Right. Baseball is a game of failure. You are going to fail. We have grown. We understand what we need to do better. And we are going to get better from it. That is all from me today. Great show. Really happy with the way this went. Solo episode. Not great at solo episodes, but today I think was a really good one. You 27 guys, 27 Victus guys, big things are expected, right? We're going to hold you accountable. We're going to hold you to a standard. And we are going to expect some huge things from you guys this summer, both on and off the field. Like, listen, subscribe, share it with your friends, get us some views, right? Gary Mendoza, hopefully soon. Jordan Lazowski, hopefully soon. Coach Beltran, we're going to get him on, probably have Coach Delgado on at some point as well. Coach Townsend's going to come on. Coach Abby's going to come on. We're going to talk development program, get real in depth with it. But the podcast rolls on. Thanks for listening. Like, listen, subscribe. See you later.